Welcome again to this beautiful environment in Jamaica, Queens, New York. A little cloudy day, but we know the sun is there, but look at this scenery. Doesn't it bring peace and tranquility, hearing the birds chirping? And what a beautiful day to start the morning. Well, it so happened that again the yoga meditation was so powerful, and I want to bring you the blessings of that because I know you can't do it. But what happens then during that the yoga asanas, the energy in every part of the body is set free, and it's moving up from the lower regions as you want to make the chakra, the power source, the divine power source that would energize us, put divinity in us. So take that blessings, imagine that you have it now, and the energy is all the way up there to the higher regions, to the head. And let us all pay adorations to Surya Narayan. He's coming up now, because let us start out with that prayer. Prayer energizes, as we do with Ganesh Ji. And let's do it with Surya Narayan because he's the one that energizes us. I'm going slowly here because I'm going down this nice hill and going down into the pond area. You could see it. What a beautiful feeling that you're in the open. Om Bharar Bhavasvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bharar Bhavasvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bharar Bhavasvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Well, I could see that the sun is coming up, and let us pay adoration to the murtis, the natural murtis, adoration to Mother Earth, adorations to water, adorations to air, adorations to fire and sun, and adorations to space that supports everything. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Anyway, Jamaica, Queens is a nice place for me, because I would have started out my ashram life here way back in early 1991. And look at that glimmering of the sun in the water. Enjoy it. Sun, adoration. Yes, starting. And one of the things that Swami Vijayanand would have told me as soon as I got into the ashram, after we have discussions before we came there, he was in the house, and he would have said, after listening, he said to me, what do you like to do? I said, I like to read. So I said, is there a book that you like to read? And then I said, well, I haven't read the autobiography of Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda, and I like to read it. He says, no, please don't do that. But he didn't give me the explanation then, but being a guru, a spiritual master, he had created so many brahmacharis in Guyana, and I know he has that power, because when you're next to him, that divine power comes in. So when Paramahansa Swamiji brought me out of this mundane life and bring me into the ashram life, then I realized that the divine is at play and I should surrender to it. But Swamiji would have had me do so many things, not in detail, I might have mentioned it, but these experiences is what makes the monk. It's what makes one. And he would have told me after some time that read the Bhagavad Gita, chant Bhagavad Gita sloka. So I was reading, And I stopped. So he says, why are you stopping? And I said, oh, that I think I know this already. He says, how do you know this? And then he would have explained to me that you are getting the direct knowledge. Pranavananda Swamiji, founder and spiritual master of BHARAT SEVASHRAM, brought you in for specific purposes. And I told you not to read Parameshananda Yogananda book because you would have also get your experiences. That his experience is unique of him, and everyone's spiritual experiences are unique in their sense. So then I understood it then. And then when I went to India and on the going on the place of Guru Maharaj Swami Parameshananda stayed in Kolkata headquarters, being on the guidance of Bidhanandaji, he did practically the same thing, because he will have me next to him and he will be transmitting the knowledge, because he's a spiritual master also. And when he would have transmitted that knowledge, I would receive it. And it is so beautiful that you and I, we have the potentials to be liberated souls, self-realized. And this is the goal of the life. But if we choose to go and emulate or try to follow the path of another and emulate that, it wouldn't happen. So afterwards, Swami Buddhanand would have taken me to all the places all over, and I got to saw all the things. He would send me to pilgrimage in the Himalayas, going to Rameshwaram, all by myself. Because he says, you want to be in that moment that you're quiet, you're peaceful. No one is there to talk and interrupt your experience. And it was so beautiful, and I enjoyed it. And then Buddhanand Swamiji, after so many years, he looked at me, says, you know, Maharaj, that's what you call a monk in training. You know, you should start writing a book of your experiences, because I know you've been keeping diary of your experiences. And then I said, well, Swamiji, I never wrote a book, and I don't know how that happens. So he gave me a yellow pad. We were in Bombay, and he gave it to me around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And he said, start writing. And then I was interrupted to do join the RT at 7. And after the RT taking meal, I continued writing. And I wrote and it was like hearing a bell. And it was already 3:30 in the morning. Oh my God, all night writing and not even knowing. Because Swami Buddhanandaji would have given the transmitted knowledge. And Swami Parameshananda also, God incarnate, Lord Shiva, he was there with me. And imagine I was under the guidance of God. And this knowledge was transmitted. And after some time I was able to write that book. And it was so beautiful that when I received it in Kolkata from the printer that early morning, I held it and I bowed and took it to the altar and said, okay. And I felt relief, because now I could let go of all the experiences that I had from my memory, and now it's in the book. So my mind was a little emptied and freed now. So what I'm trying to say is that we have to surrender, and we have to have the faith that we have the capability of being great. And if we give up our individual mind, because it's very unique, our individual mind is for the mundane world. And when we pay attention and importance to our mundane mind and to the mundane world, this is the cause of our suffering. So then, look at that. Oh my God, look at the sun coming up, and the fountain is there, and the water is reflecting the sunlight, and the elements are all together. Water, fire, air, and of course space is suspending all of us. That this here Murti, it's in us, these 5 elements. And what you're seeing outside is inside of us. And oh, what a beautiful thing, that more than that, that when we had these experiences and I was under the guidance of spiritual masters, especially Swami Parameshananda ji. And then I would have get that direct transmission of knowledge. That was in the original days where the saints were sitting, and that knowledge was transmitted as Shruti, what was heard, and later on documented as the Vedas and Puranas and all the great texts. Oh my God, Veda Vyas recording it. So what I'm trying to say is that you and I, we have the capabilities, and it was demonstrated by my being under the guidance of Swami Parameshananda ji and Swami Vidyanan and Swami Buddhan and all great monks of BHARAT SEVASHRAM Sheng. And I want to pass this message on to you, so this way you could also make that shift. This is the purpose of life. Make that shift, and you'll see the transformation in your life. And when you make that shift, your attention and importance will be totally on your salvation, your moksha, your liberation. And then your mundane life, attention, you will not pay much on it. You'll do your duty to all the relationships you have, legitimate relationships, but you'll enjoy that freedom, that self-realization, the goal of our life. To the adorations to Swami Parameshananda ji, great spiritual masters, Christ and the Buddha, they are all manifestations of the consciousness. Let us learn from them. Let us worship them, let us surrender to them. Let us surrender to greatest Guru, Lord Shiva and Krishna Bhagwan, and Mother Durga, and everyone that you like, all the deities that you have affinity for and likeness. To the lotus feet of all this Guru we pray. Om Jnana Moolam Guru Murti, Puja Moolam Guru Param, Mantra Moolam Guru Vakyam, Moksha Moolam Guru Kripa, Moksha Moolam Guru Kripa. Oh, have a beautiful day. Transform yourself. Hari Om Shanti Shanti Hari Om.